What is happening, guys? We're here a little earlier this week. That's because we wanted to make sure to announce that this Friday, February 11th, at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are going to be streaming on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/DeanPTV. I'll have it linked in the Spotify bio, YouTube, wherever. Um, yeah, we want to play games with you guys.
Yeah, we did a test run over the weekend. It was pretty successful. We had a lot of fun, and so we're hoping to get a slightly bigger turnout and play with you guys. And if we get enough people, we could do 5v5s. We could do kind of whatever you guys want to do. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're
we
all
could play Earth. I will put myself to
he
that pain, but we could
hates
do
Earth.
it.
Yeah, we want to hang out with you guys and just I guess other thing we can do is we'll link the Discord in the
Yeah.
description of all this, and you guys can
Yep.
join and message Tyler or I, and we'll get you set up. So yeah, that is this Friday, February 11th. It is the 11th, right? I'm not drunk.
I
It has
believe
to
that
be.
is the 11th.
Okay, February 11th,
It is.
6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, anyways, today we got a pretty interesting topic to go over about new champions versus champions that desperately need to be reworked. Considering Zeri came out about a month ago and Renata Glask is about to come out, two champions in the span of a month feels like a lot, you know.
It really does.
So we're gonna get into that in a moment, but we'd like to go over our question and poll from last week. So the question was, what are your thoughts on the 80 fighter item? No one actually wrote in, but I will give you my 2 cents. Considering I've been playing a lot of Jarvan, Death Dance feels really broken as like a second, third item. The healing is pretty insane. Um, I even actually built Maw the Malmortius in a game, and it felt good. I think was it. I think was I playing ADC, and I didn't go shield
Oh,
bow
that's right. And you're saying, I gotta go Ma. I forgot about that.
because I think they had like at least 3 AP threats, maybe two or three. But it actually felt it was like a fourth item, but
Yeah.
I felt like I was surviving. So I didn't get around to build too many other ones. I wanted to try Black Cleaver because it got that buff to CDR.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been
no,
seeing a lot of people build Black Cleaver, actually. I've been seeing Lee Sin's like
yeah,
getting Black Cleaver second after Gore Drinker.
I think a lot of them. Okay, Gore Drinker for sure still feels pretty good, even though it just lost. Was it 150 HP or 100 HP? I
Yeah, but
can't
that
remember.
item's still strong.
It's still good. Um, so yeah, so far so good on that. I think a little more. They might tweak things here and there, but it's felt pretty good so far. And then our poll was, in your opinion, what role should Senna primarily be as? And we are split right down the middle at 50-50 of ADC and support.
Oh, you know what? Refresh it. Because I tilted that scale.
God damn it.
I tilted the scale to support. I think if you're gonna release a champion as a support, your champion should be a support, not a well, it's not a solo lane carry, but not a dual lane carry. So
I kind of agree. I
that's
think that's what I voted. I
right.
voted for sure think she should be a support. Um, but it's hard because she can for sure carry from a support. I feel
She can't.
like
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being able to carry from support because you can look at champions like Brand or Zyra that can do that. Obviously, they fall off a little bit late game, but for her to like actually have a kit that's designed as a support and then function as just a regular old marksman, that's a little weird to me, and I'm not that big a fan of that.
so what else do you think? Obviously they lowered the soul drop rate from minions she kills. Is there
Yeah.
do you have any idea or suggestions on what they could do to like cuz I think she's still going to be played as marksman, but
I mean, I do just thinking about it now. Remember when she first came out and no one was decided on whether or not you should be building um AD or AP on that champion because the AP had a good heal ratio,
right.
but the AD ratio was kind of booty on that. Maybe make her skills scale with AP and bring back some of the AD scaling, and then you would have a champion that would sit still be a strong champion in terms of damage, but would also sit more in a supportive type role. Maybe that's just a possibility. I mean, when she first came out, I thought for sure she'd be like an ardent sensor champion, you know.
Hmm.
Um, that's not the case, but that's not even a bad item for her. But that's not the case because there's better items, you know.
One thing I was kind of thinking of is, what if they were dead set? I don't think they're dead set on making her just a support,
They're not.
but I was thinking if they're dead set on making her support, what if from the minions? So obviously you get what, 3 gold for souls you when you pick up your souls.
I think so. Yeah.
What if you were the one that killed said minions and then got the soul? What if you didn't get the gold from the minions? You wouldn't get the gold of the souls you killed from the minions. I don't know how to fucking say that better.
Okay, so the minions you kill, you get the gold for the minion, but not for the soul.
Right.
That makes
Something.
sense.
I mean,
That's a thing. I mean, that I could see that
it's
in some
three.
world working.
Realistically, 3 gold. I don't think is going to make that big of a difference.
No, but it definitely hurts a little bit. You know what I mean?
It would
Just makes
give
gold inefficient.
it would give support Senna a bigger incentive, I guess,
Yes.
to be played as. So, um,
The other thing that I do think is kind of interesting, and I don't know how much you know about the development of Thresh,
hmm,
but when Thresh was designed, I believe during I haven't watched this video in a while from Exile on YouTube, but believe when Thresh was designed, he was actually supposed to be an AD carry, but they couldn't figure out a way to make his kit work as an AD carry, and have some cohesiveness to it. So they settled him in as a support, but that is why he still carries that damage passive on his E.
okay,
And that's why. Well, now it doesn't really work like it used to, but the 80 Thresh build still worked. And part of that was just like a leftover remnant of the fact that he was supposed to be a damage champion, and then later was changed, and now you have Senna, who's like the opposite. That's thought it was an interesting dichotomy between the two champions, their lore and
right.
their play styles. You know?
I guess that's a decent segue to get into this, considering Thresh is a decently old champion versus Senna being a newer champion.
Yeah,
But Thresh is, I feel like,
relevant, always relevant.
his kit does not need to be touched.
Never.
Which is, there's very few champions. Maybe, I don't know. I can't think of how many. The only ones I can really think of that are still old that have never been changed, like Thresh, maybe Riven,
Yeah,
and God, I can't even think of, like, maybe like Blitzcrank or something. Like, those champions for sure do not need, maybe they just need a little love here and there. I don't think they need to get touched at all.
they don't. Yeah, they don't need really. They just need whatever little buff or nerf keeps them relevant or irrelevant in the meta. They don't need like a overhaul.
All right. So again, we turned to Reddit and we wanted to get some opinions. And of course, always got to say this: this is not anywhere close to the amount of the player base. But we did have just over 500 people vote on this poll, which was, would you prefer Riot pumping out new champions, like brand new champions, or reworking old ones? And I guess I don't think we specified, but some champions need a full-on gameplay update, video, visual, and game. Some champions only need a visual.
Yep.
So I guess we didn't specify that. So we're sorry.
Well, I think this is more of the way it's worded and
Gameplay, right?
and what I the way I worded it, and I forgot. Yeah, the way I worded it is: would you rather Riot work on the older champions and work on more of those instead of releasing a bunch of new champions? What if Riot released only a couple new champions and reworked all the old ones instead of polling the community to pick one rework?
Because
Um,
is it just weird to me? Why is there only one massive like rework per year? I guess I just don't understand, like, why do we get to vote on one rework a year? Granted, I know COVID makes things difficult. I don't know the time and the manpower that goes into fully like, I mean, essentially reworking a champion is almost like making a new champion. Some champions out there that have been reworked and just completely overhauled, like, but does it really restrict them? They're like, oh, we're only gonna do one. That's it. Is it one a year, really?
So there was someone who had a good comment about that, that I thought was actually very interesting. Let me see if I can find it on here. Someone did mention like it's easier just to introduce a new champion than it is to rework an old one.
Right.
And part of it is because there are people that main the the old champions. There are. I mean, there's Annie Bot. You know what I mean? The guy just fucking plays Annie, and if they were to rework her, that would actually could kind of fuck the way he plays. You know what I mean? There are people that are like that, and it's pretty common that a lot of people get to plat playing just one champion, get to diamond playing a few champions. So there is that possibility of like we rework this champion and risk pissing off a bunch of people that don't ever come back to play.
See,
Uh, Whereas you could just introduce a new champion and they could just ban it.
I feel like people that main champions, like let's look at Shyvana. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I haven't gone to the Shyvana subreddit. But whenever I see people talking about Shyvana and they actually say they main them, they hate her design. She's
Yeah,
just an spam bot. I think people would be welcomed if they're, God, I don't even know how old Shyvana is. Like early seasons champion would be reworked because there there's we're in 2022. We have champions that revive each other. We have champions that can fly across the map. We have champions that just don't take damage and then pump out 4 million damage. And then Shyvana relies on getting to level 6, relies on having her ult ready, and then just spamming her E. And that is it.
yeah, that's pretty stupid. I gotta say.
So I think people would not be pissed off if that was. I mean, what about like Udyr? I'm sure there's a lot of Udyr mains that are like stoked that he's getting a rework. Because
There are.
literally all his abilities are, he's just based about auto attacking. You can't tell me him getting reworked is going to piss people off. What
Is
about,
it interesting to you, by just to kind of slightly off topic, but on topic with Udyr, that he wasn't in that poll?
because he is getting reworked?
But like, if they're only gonna do, are they? When is his coming? Do we know
Like in
when
a
his is
couple
coming?
months.
So
So,
they're doing two. Did they do two last year? They only did one last year, right?
so the one we voted on where Skarner got selected,
Yeah.
that's next year. That's 2023.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
that's not
realize
even
that.
coming out this year.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, that's why people for like the last 3 years, when they started doing these, Shyvana has like always come in second place. And I know, was it 2 years
Right.
ago when Volibear got reworked? I think Fiddlesticks was like so close to him that they both did both.
Yeah.
So like I feel like, especially with Shyvana, they have like a basis. Like she's a dragon. Okay, cool. I'm sure they could come up with something. Again, I don't work, I don't program, I don't design games, I don't do that shit. So I have no idea what the effort is. But when you're Riot and you're probably a multi-billion-dollar company, like, really? You're really gonna like?
I don't know. See, with that champion, like the fact that she's a dragon, like I feel like you could get away just making her a magic damage champion and let her build AP. I think that's fine and that's fair, because when I think of dragons, I also think of like Merlin and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're a dragon and you're going to use magic or have magic used against you to kill you. That's like the mythos of the whole
Dude,
thing.
I would be totally fine if they turn her into an AP bruiser.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm getting at. It's like if
Nonce.
they turn her into that and just got rid of her AD scaling, whatever. Like at least I would understand this champion does magic damage and should blow you up. But like the fact that her kit and the way she's played right now is like dragon form is only important for the E. There is no other reason to use any of her other skills, really. I mean, twin bite's just an auto attack reset, but you're not building Nashor's too, so that doesn't matter. Uh I don't think I don't remember what the W
Burnout,
is.
burnout.
Burnout. I don't think that scales off magic damage. I think it scales off AD, doesn't it?
I want to say they changed it. I
Did
mean, a while ago they added a lot of extra AP
let's
scaling.
let's just commit, change her skills up because she should not have that E is fucking stupid with the way it works right now. The massive AoE damage that it puts out is fucking ridiculous. So let's get rid of that. Let's just put AP into her kit. Let her scale off AP. She's just gonna end up like another Gwen, sort of, but whatever. Or
I mean,
Diana, maybe.
so let's see. Weird. So her Q, it it deals 100% AD, but it scales off AP. Wait, what? So Shyvana's next attack within 6 seconds deals 100% AD plus 35% AP. This is so fucking weird. And causing her strike again after quarter second, dealing bonus physical damage. It's so all over the place.
It is. It is. Pick one.
Burnout. Let's see. I don't think the W. Let's see. W deals magic damage. It doesn't show anything about scaling.
I don't think it actually scales. I think it's just the movement speed that scales, or the duration, or something
Okay,
like that.
here we go. It scales off AD. Okay, it scales off AD.
Yeah.
Movement
Okay.
speed scales off AP. Damage scales off AD, but it's treated as magic damage.
It's so fucking again,
It's.
all over the place.
I mean, I'm I'm totally fine. Skarner for sure needed it because I feel like that champion.
One dimensional.
If you don't fight on his spires, he's just so fucking useless.
Yeah.
Unless
the spires were a cool idea when they first introduced those.
let me rephrase. Fighting, like, I don't think if you can't fight Skarner on a spire because I feel like he'll just whoop your ass. And
Yeah.
other than being on the spires, his only thing to do is if he's running Predator and Chem Tank, just run at you and just flash R you, and that's it.
Pick you up. Yeah, and if you have a scimitar or cleanse, then it doesn't matter.
So again, yeah, one dimensional. That's fine that he's getting the rework. I just wanted to see Shyvana more. I mean, as far as Kog'Maw, I feel like Kog'Maw's okay right now.
Yeah, I didn't even know why he was in that list. I feel like that champion can be really, really good or really, really bad, and it's just dependent on the meta. So I thought to myself, why the hell is this champion in this list? This is stupid. This shouldn't have garnered any vote. I know it garnered some votes, but it shouldn't have garnered any votes.
And I feel like the only reason they put Trendamir on there is just because everyone's been hating on him.
It probably because people were playing him at Worlds and stuff too.
I mean, he needs a rework, but what they had in mind was just not no bueno.
Yeah.
It did sound like they were not going to do anything to like change his style.
Yep.
Nocturne, I guess. I mean, Nocturne's one dimensional, right?
He turns out the lights, but he also just comes in and kicks her ass anyways.
That's his. I mean, that's his own thing.
That's what Rengar does. He just comes in and kicks her ass and leaves. Like, I don't know.
So okay, so the poll, when get into it, was pretty one-sided.
85% of voters voted for one option.
Rework old champions first. And I mean, I guess again, we didn't say this, and we said we'd probably just assume it, but that could also mean just visual updates, maybe lore updates, voice line updates. But for this, I think we're just gonna treat it as a full visual gameplay update.
Yeah.
And then we talking about like champions such as like Garen. And the other problem with new champions is I feel like they're so complicated.
Extremely.
Like, I mentioned it, Tyler Aphelios. I don't want to know how many words are in his passive explaining how all his guns, etc. And then you look at Nasus's passive, and it literally says Nasus gains X lifesteal. That's it. Yep. It's like 5 words.
Yep. Or is it Cassiopeia's passive is that she
movement speed
can't wear boots and she scales movement speed? Like, very short, very simple. And then you've got Aphelios, you've got oh god, who was I just thinking of too? The head of you have Bard. I mean, Bard's not really new, but he's also not really old, and he's got like a paragraph, a couple paragraph passive. It has to do with the chimes and stuff like that. But at least his is like easy to understand. You know what I mean? Like it's long, but it's pretty simple. Go collect chimes. The more chimes you collect, the more damage you do. The faster you move, they give you XP. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy. It just takes a lot of words to write that out. But like you said, Aphelios is just
Yeah, it's like a
absolutely,
novel, dude.
dude. It is a whole novel. And then his skills don't have any descriptions, obviously, except for his Q. So it's like, what the fuck is this shit?
So let's get into this. So we, aside from asking people to vote in the poll, we wanted some ideas. And again, it's February, about to be the middle of February in a few days. And there's already 2 champions. Like, I think, I'm going to assume Renata comes out next week with the patch.
I would think so. She's going to be OP.
She feels OP. And I know on the last week when we briefly talked about her, we were both like just arguing about how the W revive worked. So it turns out we were both wrong. And I still don't know. I haven't been on PBE. Actually, I know I said I was going to do that. I didn't see if it scaled, but from what I saw, and this could mean like rank 1 of the W, is if you get a takedown within the 3 seconds of the buff on you, you get brought back with 35% of your HP.
Yeah.
I don't know if that scales. She's also an AP champion. I don't know if that scales with her AP.
It does not.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay, so
I'm looking up right now. It does not.
So what happens when you level it up?
So you get... Okay, so let me read the skills. Bailout. Renata Glass, confuse an allied champion, granting X plus ability power attack speed, and X plus ability power movement speed towards enemies. Both the attack speed and movement speed buffs double over 5 seconds. So the scaling is on the attack speed is 10, 15, 20, 25, 30% plus 0.01% AP. The attack speed is 10, 12.5, 15, 17.5, 20% plus 0.01% AP movement speed.
Okay.
Then the cooldown drops from 26 to 18.
That's the other thing we didn't mention. Her cooldowns are very long.
I expected that one to be longer, considering what it does.
I mean, look at Ukshin though. I didn't even have a cooldown for that ability to be used. The revive.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, what's okay? What does
there's one last note on here. So, it says if the ally would die, they return to full health, which decays over 3 seconds. If they get a takedown with decaying, they'll be set to 35% max health and stop decaying. The champion's death can be delayed by healing or similar effects while in decaying state, but cannot be prevented unless the champion gets a takedown.
So you can heal, like a Soraka could come in and heal you.
Yes, but I ain't gonna do shit.
But
if you've ever seen what decaying looks like over 3 seconds, or if you've seen anyone try to heal a Scion while he's decaying, it doesn't do shit.
So it says nothing will keep. So if you pop Kindred alt underneath, it won't save them.
It says it can be delayed, but they will die unless they get a takedown.
So the 35% max health, is that the only number there?
That's the only, no scaling on that.
No scaling. Okay, so it's 35% all the way. Okay, so I think that's fair. 35% is not that much. I mean, unless you're like a fat tank, that 35% equals like 3,000 HP. But
yeah, right. 35%.
I know.
Usually, even on a tank would be just 1,000 HP.
Unless you're Cho'Gath or whatever. You know what I mean? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's not as OP as we thought it was gonna be, which makes me a little better. So I mean, okay. Again, 2 champions within a month. We get a vote for 1 champion. That's not even. We're not going to see until a year. We have Udyr in a few months, and that is it.
Udyr.
Unless I think I did see there were theories that they might be secretly working on a rework. So I don't know, and that can come out of nowhere. I know they're gonna do a Caitlyn style visual update on Ahri later this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Caitlyn kind of got brought into the new era with better
Yep.
voice lines and shit. So they're gonna do that with Ari.
Yeah, Ari
Um,
needs some new voice lines. I like her voice, but she just needs new voice lines.
what was I? I saw something, and while we're just talking about visual, there was a post that was like, "There's 6 champions that still mention summoners in their dialogue."
Yeah.
What the fuck? I think it's
Yeah.
like LeBlanc, Misfortune, um, does Malphite? No, Malphite. I don't know. Fuck, I can't remember. There's like 6. I'm like, come on, dude. Just they got rid of the whole fucking Institute of War summoners bullshit a couple of years ago, but it's just so weird to me that they just. I feel like recording voice like for voice actors shouldn't be that bad. I
You
don't
would
know.
think. You would think. I was to say the whole thing is really weird because it's still fucking called Summoner's Rift. Like if summoners aren't like, can we get rid of that? Why is it called Summoner's Rift if summoners aren't even a thing? Summons aren't even a thing. Like what are we doing? You know?
Yeah,
That's obviously just like a nitpick, but like
the
if you're
whole
gonna go through and wipe summoners clear from, or excuse me, wipe summoners clear from everything, and then not change the name of your map or change the fucking uh audio clips. It's like having the old Swain clip in whatever
which I think is
skill
still
breakdown.
still in there.
Yeah, I don't remember whose ability
Maybe it
breakdown that
was it
was,
Vi? Maybe it was Vi's. I don't know.
but it's fucking stupid.
Okay, again, our main discussion is about gameplay,
Yeah,
not like lore. I mean, lore can be looked at, and there's always going to be issues with lore. Not everyone's going to be on the same page as that. Is it weird they still have a thing called Summoner's Rift? So unless the Rift does not, it obviously does not exist within Runeterra
yeah,
since they did the overhaul of the, you know. But
it's definitely somewhere else for sure.
um, so let's see what people were talking about. So we have it sorted by new here. Top one, Q Mighty 97 said, "I wish they reworked less because it would have taken longer for them to get to Skarner."
I thought that one was funny. It was kind of troll, but it was funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around what Homeboy is. Is he
Yeah,
saying he
homeboy.
wanted Skarner like sooner, or
No,
not?
I think he didn't want Skarner. I think that's what he's saying.
I wish they reworked less because it would have taken longer for them to get to Skarner. I guess if they're pumping out new champions, they would not get to Skarner.
They wouldn't get to Skarner so quickly, I guess, is what he's trying to say.
But it's weird because I mean they would have I don't know, the community voted for Skarner, so it would eventually gotten to him. I don't. I'm stupid.
Dude, I'm with you. I don't know.
Let's move down to Benilator.
What's his name?
Is that it? Benilator?
Yeah.
The problem with this poll is it's asking players of the game what they want. Okay, well, yes, and that's what they did with the in-client poll. They obviously Riot does not have to do. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
They're gonna make business decisions. That's why they're making new champions. They make new skins. They make skins for popular champions. They want to make money.
Yep.
But I don't understand how that's a problem. Asking for people's opinions. They want to keep their player base happy.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that new characters are more likely to bring in new players and probably make Riot money. I don't think we'll ever see them prioritize old champs over new ones. You're probably right. Obviously he's right.
I disagree with half his take.
I only agree at the last sentence where they're going to prioritize new champions.
That makes sense. I get that. And actually, I even responded to his comment. I just said, I wonder if creating new champs really brings new players in, though. Obviously, new champs and new skins bring in revenue, but I'd be curious to know what the player base looks like every time a new champ is added. Are we gaining more or new players when they add a new champion? Are these players active for more than a few weeks or a month? Like, what is our actual metric there? I see the point he's trying to make, but there is not founded in any evidence. So the only thing I can actually look at and say there is evidence for is new champs, new skins is more money. That makes sense, and that's the only thing in that comment that actually makes actual sense because we don't have the numbers on active players and what happens when you create a new champion, how many there are that stick around, what do you consider active? There's so many variables in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, maybe I don't get as many league ads because I play it, but I don't think whenever a new champion comes out, I don't think they're promoting them on like ads. I always see like, I mean, Arcane just came out, so I'm pretty sure I usually just see like Vi, Jinx, Caitlyn. Like, I feel like
That was the
Ari,
biggest flux, I think.
Ari, they have these champions that are the face of League, but I don't
I
think
don't think new champions bring in new players. I just don't.
yeah, considering that there's so many champions, I don't think like maybe I think if you like take like man, I'm fucking drawing a blank right now. What the fuck is the battle royal?
Like Fortnite?
Like the Titanfall like ISK. What were we fucked? Oh my god.
Oh, Apex?
Yeah, Apex has so few characters that when a new one comes out, that's all it's about. So I can see that. We're about to hit 160 champions. I don't think a new champion is going to bring in a large player base.
No, I don't think so. Although I do see what they're doing, like the Zeri and the Valorant champion or the Valorant
Sure.
operator that they brought in. Like, okay, you're trying to cross bridges with players of both games or whatever, or players that play one that might be interested in another. I'm like, that brings in new players. Adding Jinx to Fortnite brings in new players.
Yes, yes.
That brings in new players and sells more skins. New champions do not. The only problem is when there's so many fucking new champions, or there's so many champions in general, that's daunting for a new player. They turn out there's so many things to learn.
I couldn't even imagine being a new player like,
Dude,
and there's like,
yeah.
oh my god, there's 160 champions. What the fuck am I doing? Like, I'd be
What do I
so
play? What am I
overwhelmed.
doing? Exactly. And that's why part of my thought was like, and I voted for the overwhelming majority of like
Yeah.
rework the old champions. But then I kind of started thinking about like, actually, no, just release a new champion because some of those old champions have purpose. Garen has purpose. Garen's purpose is to be simplistic so you can learn how to play the fucking game.
The
More off,
my
Garen.
only
Oh, good.
sorry,
Go ahead.
my only point like to play devil's advocate, I agree. I think Garen is fine the way he is. Very simple. He
I wish he wasn't a damage dealer. He's supposed to be a fucking tank. That guy should not deal damage, but that's a different gripe.
sure he's a very easy champion for like beginners.
Yes.
The other point I would argue is like look at Warwick. When they reworked Warwick, he's still a very simplistic champion.
He is, but I think he's a lot more difficult than he used to be.
He has
He
he has a
just
skill
press
shot.
R.
He has a
Yeah.
skill shot now.
Yeah.
I think he's still more or less very simplistic. And
But there's also like new champions that can be like that. Look at Vex, right?
okay, yep.
Vex is a simple champion. Actually, she's probably a really good beginner champion for a lot of people to play because she's not complicated at all. Actually, I think she was one of my favorite releases because of that. She's just like, here's a champion, pretty straightforward. Obviously with any champion, there's a few tactical moves that you can do or special combos that you can do that are a little bit more mechanically intensive, but like that champion is not a mechanically intensive champion. You're either good with her or you're not. Kind of like Xerath.
So I feel like sure Vex was a very I think in comparison to all the other champions was very simplistic.
Yes.
But I think majority of the champions that are coming out now have a higher skill ceiling.
They do.
They take more games to play. Like Zeri is the Q mechanic, the Q auto attack mechanic is brand new, and that's a little weird to get used to. She can fly over the fucking map at 4 million miles an hour. That is difficult to contain.
Yep.
Renata is. I don't know. Actually, I haven't played that. I haven't played on PvE, so maybe that champion's a little bit easier. She has a skill shot. She has a shield. She has a fart cloud. I mean, maybe she won't be as bad.
I mean, look at Rel as a support champion. That champion's pretty complex for a support.
Sure.
Because it's not like you look at her on her face is like, no, you just engage. you just go in. But you don't just go in with that champion unless you want to die. You know what I mean? Or look at like Samira. Remember how overloaded she was? And she was kind of difficult. She's still, I don't know if she's difficult to play, but she's not easy to win with, if that makes sense. Because just the way the game works right now. And that's a newer champion too. Who's not crazy complicated, but understanding how to use the kit is complicated.
Right. Just keep going. Crowley Yo said, theorized that this poll would probably be flipped if it was done in the client, which I actually agree with, because obviously Reddit Hive Mind is usually feels like it's one-sided, and that's nowhere near to the player base. Sure, okay, there's 5.5 million people on this sub, but if you put it in the client, it's like the Shyvana thing. It seemed like everybody was talking like, oh, Shyvana's gonna win this, no problem. Skarner won. I could see it being flipped. I could see a lot of people, especially higher elo people, that are like, I don't give a shit if Garen gets a rework. I want something new. You know what I'm saying? Like that makes sense. They don't give a shit.
I'd say flip, but I think it'd be more even.
You think it'd be even?
A lot closer to even. I don't know if it would even be if it would actually reverse, but I think it would be a lot more close to 50-50 or 60-40 than the 85-15 that it's at right now.
I just feel like just the people that play this game and that are really good at the game, like competitive,
they don't give a shit about Reddit.
They don't. Yeah, Reddit opinions are just bad, and which is ironic because we're asking for Reddit opinions on this episode, but whatever. Again, they don't give a shit. Like, and again, there's champions that are so old, like LeBlanc, that are fine. Their kits are fine. Just, I don't think they give a shit if a champion got reworked. Their chances are they're probably going to be busted, and then they'll be played. But until then, just the idea, they probably just do not care.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What else we got?
We can skip the one from that. I mean,
yeah.
This guy said it doesn't have to be only VGUs or only champs. They could make one less mid laner per year and give us one more VGU. I like that idea, except for the fact that I think we sort of debunked that idea with how long it takes for them to actually turn these things out.
Yeah.
So I think that idea is a little debunked. Although I like the idea. I like where the idea is going. I see where you're headed with that one, but Mr. Hawk, I don't think that one is going to work, I guess. But we'll get down to, let's see. Oh, like you were just talking about Shyvana, Katya Belly.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, just like the sub was convinced Shyvana would get the votes, this sub isn't representative of the actual league player base. Refreshes are important insofar as they keep the game updated and older champions up to current visual and, to a lesser extent, gameplay standards. That said, Riot is not and will never touch their primary revenue streams, new champions and skin launches, to facilitate what is rightfully a side project. Money talks, and money says focus most of the devs on new skins and champs, while keeping the overall quality on the steady increase via slower updates to older champs. Would I personally love to see more reworks? Sure, but not if it impedes or slows the creation of new content.
It's a good argument because
no, it's the right argument.
Right,
sure.
Right. If they stop making new champions, this game would get fucking boring. Very boring.
It would.
Because they need to keep pressing the some of them I don't like, but they need to press the they got to push the boundaries of what the fuck is going on. Because after Renata, who knows what the next champion is gonna do? Like, I probably can. If I sat here for like 2 hours, I could probably be like, oh, the next champion's probably gonna blah 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 blah. But something's gonna happen, and it's probably gonna be next level and broken as shit. Or on the other hand, they could just rework. They could, like how Aatrox got reworked. He's literally Riven. Or they could do something like that. They just put the champion out with all the same fucking abilities.
How do you feel about the power creep in this game? Because I feel like that's something I always come back to.
Well, I feel like
I look around, I'm like, dude, every new champion is so much more powerful than the last that, like, some of these older champions just can't keep up because they just can't do the same shit. I
I
mean, look at Silas.
I think they Riot actually said that they released champions overtuned because if it
Well, I knew
was
that.
if it was the opposite way, if they were undertuned, it'd be a little bit harder to do that.
No,
Um,
for sure. But I feel like just the game in general, like every champion gets more and more bursty, right? And like they have to tune up the power. So it's like, oh, well, Zeri, fuck, she gets a lot of movement speed, like a lot of fucking movement speed. So you can't touch her, hit her with a skill shot. And that's how she's gonna win the game, right? And you just like I feel like sometimes you just turn around and you're like, dude, what happened to the days where like one shotting was only possible in like two champions and not 30? You know what I mean? Like every champion doesn't need to be able to one shot somebody. Bruisers don't need to be able to one shot people, you know? And I feel like that gets a little overwhelming. It's like to a point where you can't even really make a good new champion because if they don't one shot people, they're not playing them, or you know what I mean?
no, yeah, there's way too much damage in the game.
Yeah,
Whoa.
either you one shot from like level, once you hit level 6, either you one shot somebody or you one shot somebody at level 18 with full items. You know what I mean? Like that's how the game works, and I don't think it should work that way.
And then Dolpher X replied to that, and this is something that I've been thinking and talking about is there's gonna come a point there's gonna be too many champions in this fucking game.
Yep.
Can you imagine pro if there's 500 champions? No way. That doesn't.
20 bands.
And that's the other thing I was talking about. When are they? They're gonna have to increase. They have to eventually increase the amount of bans.
Again, which is crazy because I feel like they just increased it, but they've pumped out so many new champions. Or like we always say, there's so many OP champions. There's not enough bans to actually get into champions that are not overpowered. And like when you look at pro, they actually can do that. There are enough bans, and maybe you leave one overpowered champion open that you can play against or that you can play as or whatever. You know what I mean? But when you look at like the general game, uh there's just way too many champions and not enough fucking bans. And so it's like, hey, look, I banned Zeri, Yasuo, and Yoni, and then I got two other bans to ban something else, and then they're gonna pull out a Talon or fucking
Trendemir, like,
yeah, exactly. Something that's dumb. You're like, well, that's not even worth a fucking ban, but it's OP,
and again, like I said earlier, it's like he said for example, he used, and it's a little extreme. If they get to the point of 1,000 champions, how is a new player gonna react to that? I would look at that if I was a new player. I'd be like, no, fuck this, dude. That's how do you take the time if you're gonna learn to play this game and play it in a competitive mode? How do you fucking like
Yep.
yeah, like every game you could probably play a game for a month straight every day, and you'd play a different champion. Like you'd be like, oh my god, what does this person do? Oh my god, what is this person gonna do? And
Yeah,
I feel like we're
learn how to play that champion. Not just what does this person do, but how do you play this champion?
it's like what number do you think that will start at? I mean, do you think it's now that there's too
No,
many? What do you think, like 200,
no,
250?
probably. I think it's
Dude,
coming soon, but
do you think they will go that far?
I feel like at a certain point you just gotta eliminate champions,
What
and
is?
then
Do you think they would really
I don't
delete
know.
champions?
I don't know. I mean, fuck,
Re-
delete Emo. That champion's fucking useless, bro.
okay, realistically, what? How long do you think? What's the longevity of this game? How much? How many more years do you think this game has?
That's
If
a
they're in the
good
projectile they're
question.
going, I think they said they wanted to release a champion for every lane. I think they said at least 2 mid laners or something per year. So let's just say five champions a year. Do you think like 10? Well, obviously 10 years would be 50. Do you
That's
think
a lot.
how are they going to get away with that?
I don't know. I think their game is going longer than they expected to. I don't think there's really ever been a game like this made,
World of
right?
Warcraft?
But it doesn't have all this new stuff. I mean, they got new quests, but there's and new items, but there's no new like
Fair.
a mage is a mage, a druid's a druid's a druid. You know what I mean? Like the classes are the same. Like it, WoW, the way WoW works is very similar to the way D&D works in terms of um what's new and whatnot. The classes stay the same, and sometimes they make new variations of the same classes, but generally they're the same. You're a tank, you're a fighter. I mean, it's all the same classes that are in this game, but they're not making new champions because they're not set to certain skills. They can literally just make up new spells and say, "Cool, here's all your spell slots. Use them, and here's some spells for you to use. You decide."
Yeah, man, it's gonna be.
And so I don't think my point was sorry. My point that I kind of got sidetracked off of this. I don't think this game was intended to last this long.
I think you're right.
There's not games that last that are multiplayer on this level that last like this. I mean, you have the closest thing I was gonna say was like Super Smash, but Super Smash they don't even release new characters. I mean, they release like 5, and that's a relatively new thing because DLC exists. But before that, like I mean, there's still people that play Melee and compete with Melee, but they're not learning new characters. They're learning new strategies on the characters that already exist.
This is such an interesting conversation this has turned into, because like just thinking about where this game will be in 5 years, I can't comprehend. Like, do you think they'll, aside from just champions, they're gonna probably have to change literally everything else? I think like Summoner's Rift might have to change eventually. Like,
Yeah.
what if, what if they fucking change it to like 10v10? Like, what if they make a massive map
Oh,
and each team has 10 people? I don't know. It's some fucking crazy shit to think about. I just, it does not sound fun.
no,
But like,
it's hectic.
just think of 200 characters in a game. Do you think they'll ever hit a point and they'll be like, all right, we're done adding champions?
I
Do you
don't
think
so.
you don't think that is that you don't think that's
Nah,
less
but
likely than them just continuing and like infinite?
yeah,
It's a weird
yeah, I don't
thing
know.
to comprehend.
It is weird. Just trying to think of like I would be hard pressed to see if this game lasts another 10 years. Just truthfully, but
But what's going to
I feel
kill
like
it?
it would be a League of Legends 2,
I think they I think they said they aren't going to do that.
which is fine because they're saying that
Right.
now. But give it 5 years and see what happens. They
Do you
might say,
think
"Well, we are in need of releasing a second game with
well
different mechanics or whatever." You know what I mean?
well I mean they're eventually going to come out with the MMO.
Yeah.
Do you think that would kill it?
Mm,
That would
I don't
you,
know what would kill it. It's hard because especially right now, their marketing is really good. Their marketing is really good right now, especially off the back of Arcane.
right.
They've garnered a new audience. They are playing professionally at this time now. They got people into the game, some time to understand the game a little bit. And then they're like, "Hey, by the way, we have these professional leagues. Uh LCS itself is actually stepping up the ante, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're pushing the ante to actually try to be a region to contend with, which I think there's a lot of Americans that don't play this game. I think there's a lot more regions that have a higher population,
There's
especially the
also
Asian regions.
they also have multiple servers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where I was gonna get to. Is like there's
Right.
Europe and Asia, which have multiple servers, um, and just a bigger player base than North America does. Um, so I think I don't know. It's just an interesting time in the space right now. Obviously, I feel like there's been Counter Strike esports around for a long time. There's been Call of Duty esports around for a long time, but League of Legends esports, I think, rules the esports
Yeah.
world right now. I don't think there's the closest thing to it is Counter Strike, or even Counter Strike's starting to lose out to Valorant. So like, Riot right now rules the esports world, and they're leading the charge, I think. And I think part of that is what keeps them relevant, and part of that's what keeps this game relevant. Um, but once that starts to falter, I'd be curious to see what happens. But I don't. I mean, realistically, I don't have the question you asked is,
Yeah.
"What do you
It's
think is going to break it?" And I have no fucking idea.
Do you think we'll be playing this game in 5 years?
That's a great question.
I fucking hope not.
Every day I wonder why I still play. Because and then there's days where it's like I can't lose. I can play like a fucking degenerate and I can't lose. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say. I don't know.
I think other than that, I think that's
That's
wrapping it
about it, I
up.
think. Yeah.
As far as a poll for this week, I just same thing here that we asked Reddit. Would you guys prefer old champions being reworked, or do you want fresh stuff, fresh new champions? What do you want?
Include a third option that's like solely VGU based,
Okay,
just to see if like, hey, we're talking like a full rework or a minor rework, which
just
would include like a
audio.
VGU, yeah, VGU or audio update, or do you just want new champions and hell with the old ones?
Any suggestions on a?
On a question,
Yeah.
you can talk about what if we ask the community, what's the what do we think is what do you think is the longevity of this game? Where do you see this
Oh,
game?
okay.
Is it going to be another 5 years? Is it going to be longer than that?
Yeah. What's the life? What do you think the lifespan of this game is, and how long do you see yourself playing this game?
Yeah.
I like that. Um, Other than that, I think that's gonna do it. Be it, guys. This Friday, February 11th, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, on my Twitch, DeanPTV, twitch.tv/DeanPTV. We're gonna be playing Summoner's Rift. We'll play some ARAMs. I'm gonna force Tyler to play some Earth. Maybe again, if we get enough people, we can do custom games. All about having fun.
Yeah, it will be
That's what
geared
we're here
towards
for.
It will be a very chill. Well, I don't know if it'll be chill, but it'll be a upbeat stream for sure.
Yeah, man. Again, we'll post the link to the Discord and my Twitch in the description. Go ahead and join the Discord. Message Tyler or myself, and we can add you in game on the client, and we'll get you set up, and we'll give you any other information that you need, and
Yeah.
we'll have some fun this Friday. I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, me too, dude. I'm stoked on it.
I think next week. Did you say I'm by myself? Is next week when you're going?
Yes. So depending on when the patch notes come out, you very well might be by yourself.
Oh boy. I might get Rand to do it with me. I think that would be funny.
That would be funny.
Just get Rand's take. Okay. All right, guys. We will see you this Friday. Come by. No pressure. You don't have to, but swing by the Twitch and say what's up. Ask us anything, and we'll see you then.
Yep. Later, guys.